Hey, bienvenue pour une nouvelle vidéo. On va continuer SCP-1762 Files avec peut-être un nouveau SCP. Quel va-t-il... Qu'est-ce que ça va être? Quel va-t-il être? Alors, l'objet est une urne en céramique de forme irrégulière mesurant environ 23 cm de haut et 28 cm de diamètre. Mais que son apparence ne vous trompe pas. le rapport hyper informel. C'est un organisme, un ventre, oui, un ventre de terre. SCP-660 doit être stocké dans un coffre-fort verrouillé. Standard, l'ouverture de l'objet devant être couverte d'un disque de plexiglas, scellé par des bandes adhésives d'inviolabilité. Oui, mais en fait, je vis pas. Ça va, mon job est pas très dur en fait. Ah, mais en fait, ok. Ok, j'ai juste à copier-coller des trucs. Ouais, ça va, c'est pas dur comme job en fait. Mais oui, mais c'est ça, enfin. Tout ce que je vis à travers les niveaux, c'est genre ce que mon perso s'imagine. Ah non, ouais, je fais des rêves bizarres et tout, c'est vrai, c'est vrai. Il est 4h05 du matin. 4h05 du matin, je suis presque prête. Tu ne viens pas, Gent? Non, je ne suis pas d'humeur. Vous parlez de quoi? Je suis là. Ok, donc en fait, tous les mois, il y a la conférence mensuelle pour partager une nouvelle connaissance relative au SCP. Et cette fois, il y a le docteur Trevor. Il a une excellente réputation. Attention, codec de Metal Gear Solid. Ah non, une cinématique.
There are many stories in this world. Some are read widely all over the world.
C'est une pub.
Some are hidden in dust and known only by a handful of people. Today I'm going to tell you a story no one else has heard before. A real story of mystery and wonder and adventure. And then you too will become the guardian of this story. The story takes place in a world of long ago. The hero of our story is a little boy. His name is Daniel.
Ok.
One day, out of nowhere, Daniel got a serious case of chickenpox.
A serious case?
It made him look like a strawberry. To make sure he didn't spread it to others, Mrs. Page, the principal, had him isolate in an attic.
Isolé dans un grenier.
And so, in the attic
Pardon?
he lived, all on his own.
Déjà, on va pas à l'école en fait quand on a la varicelle. Puis on met pas les gens dans un grenier. Alors, il a pas du tout l'air d'avoir la varicelle, hein.
But Mrs. Page, the melody is so difficult.
Don't give up, boy. You don't give up before you fight.
D.
Daniel was
droite.
reluctant at first, but he trusted Mrs. Page, and he knew he should listen. And so he practiced the penny whistle.
Oh punaise. Hein? ASDF? ASDF? Ok, non mais j'essaye. S! Ah ok, j'ai compris. C'est bon. Oh là là, mais au secours quoi. Des années de Stepmania dans les dents là. Qu'est-ce que vous dites de ça?
Suddenly, he heard some strange noises in the corner of the attic.
Huh? Who's there?
Oh!
Daniel decided to go over and take a look.
Y'a personne. Allô? Oh mon dieu, c'est de la 3D! Oh là là! Mind blown. J'ai l'impression de regarder une image.
It was a mousetrap, and there was a red origami
Ah mais ça me dit quelque chose ça.
inside of it.
Y'a pas ça dans Containment Breach en bonus? Genre une salle où il y a plein de petits papiers qui volent. Qui représentent des oiseaux ou je sais pas quoi.
It was marvelous and beautiful. The only problem was part of its wing was damaged.
Faut le brûler.
But Daniel found a way to repair it.
Ah oui, c'est vrai, on peut le réparer aussi. D. Je sais les objets pour réparer. Bah voilà.
Daniel held the repaired paper dragon high up in the air, imagining that it soared over all the world below. He
Incroyable.
played and played with the paper dragon.
Wee! Woo!
House of Paper Dragon.
Dragon! Soar!
In the warm afternoon sun, Daniel had to fight his eyelids just to keep them open.
Could it be? Or is this all just a dream?
Oui.
The next day, with boredom and loneliness weighing him down,
Ah mais il rentre pas chez ses
he
parents.
began to fiddle with the old radio.
Our town is located in the plains, where earthquakes are not particularly common. Although there are 17 fault zones around us, they are all inactive.
C'est ok.
A scrunched up ball of paper rolled over to his feet.
Where did this paper ball come from?
On dirait qu'ils ont
Just
vraiment
as
enregistré un
Daniel
enfant, c'est
went to pick
incroyable.
it up, the ball suddenly came to life, and it rolled away. Daniel chased after it.
Là c'est de la 3D, on ne m'a plus. On ne peut plus m'avoir. Impossible! Mais ça marche pas! Mais je suis à côté! J'appuie sur toutes les touches de mon clavier, monsieur! Ah, merci.
Just as he was about to seize the rolling paper ball, suddenly, terrible sparks erupted from it.
Ah, il mourra.
Before his very eyes, the paper ball began to grow, bigger and bigger. At that moment, a red figure suddenly appeared. The red figure quickly subdued the paper ball and threw it into a cardboard box. Daniel studied the red figure carefully.
Ok. C'est un dragon.
It had a sticker on its fluttering wing. It was the paper dragon.
On avait tous compris.
I wasn't dreaming. Thank you for saving me.
Daniel was grateful and very happy. He walked closer to the paper dragon, but the paper dragon seemed timid and afraid and backed away. Just then, Daniel had an idea. He took out his penny whistle and slowly played a tune.
Oh non. Guitar Hero. Ah! Space. Masse! A. S. Space.
The paper dragon enjoyed the sound very much. It began to move along with the rhythm, flipping up and down in the air.
To the rhythm.
Soon the two were playing and dancing, just like old friends.
Bon, c'est vrai que c'est long, mais j'ai envie de jouer, pour de vrai.
The paper dragon traced out a beautiful arc in the air, communicating with Daniel in a unique way.
Mais est-ce qu'on dirait pas la voix de Gabriel dans Lucius 3?
My cherished friend,
Ah, pas celle-là. Hein.
after many long years, we finally meet again. Tell me, how has your family been? A great thank you for playing that music for me. You know how I love the beautiful rhythm of anytime.
The piece of paper then changed back into the shape of a paper dragon and flew into the cardboard box. The box closed shut, and a calm silence was restored to the attic.
Incroyable.
Daniel rushed to find a watercolor pen and marked the box with excitement in his fingertips.
Dessine une B. Here. B. Dragons, ok.
Over the next few days, the paper dragon came out often to play with Daniel.
J'aime
During
jouer
this
avec
time,
toi.
Daniel introduced many of his friends to the paper dragon.
That cat's name is Mrs. Carter. Ever since I secretly fed her some fish for dinner, we've been good friends. That's Duke, Mrs. Jessica's pet. He doesn't like rainy days or Mrs. Carter. Only smoked sausages fit his taste. And now, we are friends too. My name is Daniel. What's your name?
The paper dragon flapped its wings, as if it didn't understand him.
Well, since you like the sound of the penny whistle so much,
Je vais taper
why don't I
flûte.
just call you Penny? I'll keep practicing to make it sound better.
Daniel and Penny then played baseball together in the attic.
Let's play cat.
Comment il attrape une balle? C'est de la 3D. Oh là là. Vas-y, je vais l'assassiner là. Tiens! Oh là là, mais il est trop fort! Vas-y, balance. Envoie, vas-y, vas-y. Vas-y, vas-y, envoie la balle, envoie la balle. Là-haut. C'est quand tu veux, hein. Merci. Il attendait que j'arrête de tourner en fait. Ok, mais c'est nul, faut même pas que je vise. Ok, en fait, j'en faisais bien trop.
But just as they were in the middle of enjoying themselves, a violent shaking suddenly rose from the ground.
The stubborn earthquake is back at it, folks, and it seems even stronger than last time.
At this moment, the box suddenly shot open, and thick clouds of smoke billowed out, followed by several paper balls. Penny attacked the paper balls without a moment's hesitation, and promptly threw them back into the box.
On peut fermer la boîte aussi, non?
Penny then flew around in front of Daniel and rushed right back into the box. As the box closed, the earthquake stopped. Facing a friend's farewell without a formal goodbye,
Il décida d'ouvrir la
Daniel felt
boîte.
confused and lost.
Oula,
He moved the box to the center of the
la
attic.
musique change.
Facing it, he practiced his penny whistle day in and day out. As the days went by, Daniel's playing became smoother. One day, the box suddenly began to move.
Fou.
Huh?
Hein?
1, 2, 3, 4. This time there were 4 paper dragons. But they weren't alone. Enemies began to jump out of the box too.
Earthquake! Another earthquake! This time it's reached a magnitude of 5.8!
In that small attic, the 4 paper dragons fought fiercely against the paper balls. This time, the paper balls used new tactics. They clumped together into a single monstrous ball of paper. It began to shoot strong bursts of electric sparks at the paper dragons as they flew through the air. As they were hit, the paper dragons fell from the air, one after the other.
Alors pour le coup, ça ressemble aussi à Metal Gear Solid. Je veux pas faire genre le monde tourne autour de Metal Gear Solid, mais dans les jeux qu'il y a eu sur PSP, c'est un peu le style des cinématiques dessinées comme ça. Pourquoi il se barre pas? Puis il a plus la varicelle.
The paper dragon transformed into a great beam of light and dove straight down to pierce through the monstrous paper ball. And then came another paper dragon.
C'est incroyable.
The
Watch party.
monstrous paper ball was blasted to bits, exploding into smaller paper balls. Trembling, they struggled to escape back into the box. The sacrificed paper dragons were reduced to swirling shreds of paper, and a silence pervaded. Peace and tranquility were restored once again to the attic. Daniel saw the remaining 2 paper dragons lying on the floor, badly wounded. He rushed to grab some stickers and treated them at once.
Bon alors... Ah pardon. Et voilà. Oula. Il est parti où?
Suddenly, countless paper dragons began to gush from the box.
Incroyable.
The 2 wounded paper dragons were repaired and began to fly. Like 2 colored threads, they merged with the other dragons, flying in unison. The dragons moved like a tide, flying freely through the attic. Daniel eagerly took out his penny whistle. He showed all his paper dragon friends the results of his hard work and practice. In the sweet melody of his playing, Daniel felt himself enter into the world of dragons.
Ah pardon. Ah non, j'ai cru que c'était de la 3D, alors là j'allais être ouf. Que font les dragons toute la journée?
The paper dragons merged into a long letter and floated down towards Daniel to tell their story.
After the last war, the fantasy world enjoyed a long spell of peace and stability. But now, the giants have returned. They have launched ferocious attacks, trying to invade your world through the room. We are prepared to launch the final defense. Then we will have to destroy your room, for it is the last remaining entryway into your world. Please believe this farewell will only be temporary. We will not be apart forever, and we will never forget our
Oh, ils sont gentils quand même.
of protecting you.
At that moment, the paper dragons flew back into the box. Daniel still couldn't fully understand what the paper dragons had meant, but he had a vague feeling in his heart that he may never see his new friends again. A few days later, Daniel's chickenpox had
Ah,
fully
j'allais
recovered.
dire, few days later,
He now
il a plus
played
la
the
varicelle.
pain
Hein.
whistle very, very well. But the paper dragons
Les dragons de papier
never
n'étaient pas revenus. Mettre dans le sac, mettre quoi dans le sac? Quel gameplay incroyable.
returned.
Peut-être était-il
Maybe
temps
it
de
was time
partir
to
et de
leave
tourner la page.
and move on.
Earthquake warning! Magnitude 6.2! A massive earthquake is hitting our town! All townspeople, please leave your houses immediately and move to safe
Faut pas
open
rester
spaces.
sous une table?
Just then, countless paper dragons shot from the cardboard box.
Ils doivent être tellement blasés.
It seemed like they were under attack, spinning and falling through the air in confusion.
What's happening?
Daniel quickly grabbed the stickers out from his bag and did his best to heal the injured paper dragons.
C'est à moi de jouer. Incroyable, on joue. Allez, réparez, qu'est-ce qu'il fait? Mais il fait rien. Ah, bah pourquoi celui-là? Allez, au combat, là. Bande de fainéants. Ah, lui, c'est le boss. C'est le leader. Oula. Beaucoup de boules de papier, là, quand même.
Paper balls swarmed together and pushed Daniel away.
Oh là là, ils ont vu ma stratégie, je suis le heal.
In the corner. He couldn't move. Suddenly, ominous clouds rose from the box, and a violent lightning flashed through the room. The figure of a giant slowly emerged from the thick clouds, and the entire attic became overwhelmed with its evil aura.
The earthquake is growing stronger, now with a magnitude of 7.1! Heaven almighty, are we doomed?
The giant unleashed its power maniacally. The paper dragon struggled against it, with no means of fighting back. At this critical moment, two paper dragons shined brilliantly. Together, they heroically crashed their bodies into the giant.
C'est incroyable, ils ont toujours la parade.
Daniel thought the giant had been defeated by the paper dragons, but soon he found that things would probably not be so simple. The giant's figure could still be seen.
La silhouette du géant était toujours visible, menaçante et maléfique. Les attaques n'avaient aucun effet, et le géant ne s'en était trouvé que plus fort.
It fought back with a new ferocity. The paper dragons were simply no match for it.
The earthquake is growing stronger still! The greatest disaster this town has seen!
Depuis plus de 100 ans, ça va, c'est pas beaucoup.
My heavens! Will this nightmare ever end?
With the paper dragons now all but defeated, Daniel spotted a frail figure in the distance. It was Penny. It flew gently in front of Daniel
Désolé.
and affectionately rubbed its head against his fingers, as if this whole crisis had never happened. Daniel felt like Penny was trying to tell him something, but he didn't quite understand what. Penny then left Daniel and soared
Pan
into
laissa
the
alors
air
Daniel.
with a
Pan,
determination
pan.
in its
Et s'éleva dans les airs, les ailes mues.
Suddenly, the other paper dragons seemed to be summoned. They flew through
Je
the
fais
air,
quand c'est sous ma
all
tête, je
together in unison, responding
Incroyable.
to the call without an ounce of hesitation. At that moment, Penny turned into a great
Ils vont
red
fusionner.
beam and rushed fast towards the giant.
C'est comme les Power Rangers.
The other dragons followed, shining together like a shooting star. At that moment, Daniel seemed to see a real dragon flying.
No!
Pourquoi?
explosion from the impact drowned out everything else in the attic. The attic rained down with countless pieces of paper, the leftover scraps of the paper dragons. Daniel wanted to collect all of the pieces.
Ouais.
He thought he could still fix them.
Oh non. Oh là là, mais qu'est-ce qui se passe dans ce jeu là?
Goodbye, my friend.
À deux doigts de pleurer.
The nightmare is over. The earthquake has stopped. With God's mercy, our town is safe. We thank you, Lord, for your protection.
A few days later, the art
Quelques jours plus
festival
tard,
was held as scheduled.
Daniel participa au spectacle avec sa flûte.
And now, Daniel Trevor will perform a penny whistle solo of a song titled Fly With Me.
Waouh. Perfect. J'ai même eu un achievement Steam. Un tremblement de terre!
And that's how the story ends. Now, you might be wondering what happened next.
La musique est trop forte, je ne t'entends pas.
Paper dragons in the world? Well, that's a difficult question to answer. But I believe that they are still protecting us somewhere in this world, just like they promised they would, forever, into eternity.
Devrait nous protéger jusqu'à... toujours. Jusqu'à la fin de votre vie. Waouh. Alors c'était extrêmement bien dessiné et bien raconté, mais je m'attendais pas à ça du tout. Voilà, ça fait déjà un long épisode, on va s'arrêter là pour aujourd'hui. Donc rendez-vous demain pour une nouvelle vidéo sur ma chaîne. Et bien à plus.